Hey, how you doing? Been asked a few times recently, can you do us a whistle stop tour through how to shine a pair of shoes or boots? Of course we can. Whistle stop is an apt phrase because that's all the time that you need, as fast as you like. No issue whatsoever. Now there's lots of really good videos out there, of which I've watched a million, and excellent stuff it is too. Yes, if you follow it to its nth degree, it will work by and large. There's just a key couple of things that you need to bear in mind, be mindful of, and you won't need to go through the whole rigmarole that people will have you do. It is quite as simple as this. Right, the first thing is to have a lovely big box of old antique wood, if you like, that you open up, and it's got a massive array of different polishes, nourishing creams, sprays, bristle brushes, all the sorts of stuff that's in there. And I'd show you one right now if I could find it. It's upstairs somewhere. I've got really no idea where it is. The simple thing is that if I'm going to do anything to my shoes, I just get this out. It's an odd and a sod Edward Green shoe bag that I've lost the other one, and I don't know where the shoes are that came with it. So I just got a couple of key things within there. Okay, quite simple. The first one is this. That's what I use in particular across the toe of many and varied shoes, but not suede. It's just a difference. So yeah, what else have I got in here? There's a couple of three things. Yeah, just a rag and another rag. And that essentially is that. There's another couple of rags in there too. So I'm just going to keep it with these things here. This one being an important thing. Yes, there's other glosses, there's other waxes that you can use. I just happen to have this. I think I got this from a fine pair of shoes who are a fine pair of people. Take a look at them. So we'll put that there for the moment. Here's my rag. This is an Edward Green one. It's relatively recent, this one. It's when you buy a pair of shoes from there, in the box they wrap it up with something like this. It's just perfect for what it is. Now we've got Edward Green here, so let's have a look at Edward Green. We've got some of the famous Galways, favourites of mine. Now these have had a little bit of a go on the toe already, so I know that's a little bit a cheat if you like. I've also got the Dovers, which are in the same colour. Just a beautiful pair of shoes, one with the trees in. These haven't. This one of the pair hasn't, for simple reason. Then I'm going to work on these, so I took it out there. So simple. I like to have my hand within a shoe. It's my shoe, so if there's anything in there that's untoward, it doesn't matter because it's familiar to my body. I'm not going to put my hand in anybody else's shoe. Just a word to the wise. Okay, so which way do we go here? Let's start with this. Now, quite simple. Yes, what I would do is just give it a real good rub off there, just to get rid of any dust at all. Yeah, nourishing cream can go in it. If you're doing that, put a nice liberal amount of nourishing cream across the top. Really does work well. Perhaps do that a couple of times a year for obvious reasons. It stops cracking. When you put in the elasts or the trees in there, that's going to work too in terms of that. So it's a rounded approach in terms of protecting your shoes or your boots. Now, once that's settled, once that's dried down, yes, I might give it another rub off so it's all good to go. Pay attention to the edging at some point. It is something that people miss. I have spoken about this at length before, but it merits repeating right now. Now, quite simple. Going to take hold of some of this. Open this up, and as you'll see, for me it just dries a little bit, just cakes through. That's not an issue whatsoever. Now what you do with your rag, I'm a 2-finger sort of guy. There we go. So I put the 2 fingers in there, just bring it round. Yeah, you might get some fancy guys that do all that sort of stuff. That's great. I just can't do it. That's why I don't do it. So I just keep it really nice and simple, and I would take just the finest smidge. I hope you can see that. That's all that I'm putting on there. Just the finest little dot, if you like, and just very easily just rubbing that in across the toe. Just covering that off, and what you'll see quite quickly is it had a shine before, but it's going to go to a matte state. Now, a circular action will do you well. Everybody will tell you that, and they're quite right, because effectively what you're doing, microscopically within the leather, the grain is there. So in order for you to get that really good shine, what you're doing is filling in the grain. That's all that is. So just filling that in. Let's put a little bit more on. What you can't do is, when you put too much on, is take it off too easily. So just a little bit just rubbing it in across the top, just going through. Now you can hurry this if you like, and that will get you nowhere. Simple as that. So as you can see, hopefully it's just starting to dull up. Let's say that. Just a matte finish. And what I should do with that is just leave that to rest just for a moment or two while I do the other one. Now while I'm here, what I might do is just employ the same process on the boot, on the Galway. Now this, as you can see, yeah, it's got a little bit of a shine on there also, but it's got a few scuffs from general wear on a day-to-day basis. So what I'm going to do is just touch that up in much the same way. Hopefully you can see that. It's just that small circular movement. Yes, you can go clockwise, you can go anti-clockwise if you like. That too is just a difference. So it's just taking it across the whole of the top there, just really, really taking your time. I'm going to add a little bit more onto that, just to make sure that it's there. There's a couple of key things. Now, for me, chemistry, biology, whatever, didn't really press my buttons at school. But what I do know, there's some gentle heat being applied to the leather there. Now, that heat is from the friction from the cloth and the wax, but also it's from the gentle heat from my fingers, which are inside there. So that's being applied too. Now, this is happening really, really quickly with the boot here, with the toe cap. What I mean exactly is I can start to feel there's a little bit of friction. Now that is something which is a good sign for me at least. So a little bit of friction there. I can feel there's something of a rub. Now, I'm going to set that one to one side just for now and return to the Dover. This was on the 606 last, if you remember. Really like that. Now, what some guys do is actually put a drop of water within the lid from the tap. Nothing more than that. I've actually got one of those spray things, but they're a great ornament. For me, when you put that spray on, it doesn't really work too much. I don't like too much. So what you can do is just give it a dab within the water, or a little bit of your own saliva, spittle, call it what you will. Excuse me. Now that's just a tad. Excuse me for showing you that, but there you go. You might be able to see it's just the smallest of bits in there. So in the first instance, what I'm going to do is follow exactly the same process in terms of those circular movements, just getting that through. And yes, on this shoe now, on this right now, I can feel that rubbing, that sensation, yeah? I can feel that it's actually starting to go. Now that's a phrase that you'll recognize when you do the same thing. Really quite simple. Now, the shinier that you want them to go, more often do you repeat that process. So just a little bit of wax and a little bit of water or saliva will do the trick exactly as you want to go. You can go all the way up so you're a Grenadier Guard and you will look exactly like them. That'll probably be, like me, the only likeness to those brave souls. But yeah, there you go. Just putting that in there. I'm hopeful that you'll be able to see in just a moment that, yeah, that's taking on that shine already. Okay, now, a simple tip from here. If you didn't want to put on any more, perhaps just a couple of layers of each will do you very well indeed. But just that added touch is just to put some of your hot breath on there too. Just like you're cleaning a pair of spectacles perhaps. Simple. What you've got there is that little bit of heat, little bit of moisture just going across the top and giving you that finish. Really, really quite simple. Yeah, in a toe cap like this, in a Dover, it's really quite simple. When I say toe cap, I know what you know what I mean. It's just that area there which offers a difference. And I'm hopeful that you can see just how different that is across the toe. Simple exercise. Yes, I've not done this from a standing start. You do appreciate that. The key thing is just following through that process. What I would do from here is leave that to rest, focus in on the other shoe, and in this case, the boot. Yeah, just let it rest just for a little bit. There was a little bit of moisture on my top lip there, so that can go on. Really very simple. And yes, as I said before, just those circular movements, just going in there, adding a little bit of pressure, not too much, feeling that friction, just adding that heat from your fingers with that moisture from your breath or from your saliva or from the water in the dish, and you'll notice that these will come up really, really quickly. You can do this on leathers of all sorts of grade. It's a matter of putting in a little bit of effort and a little bit of time, and you'll get those lovely, lovely results. Hope you can see there that they're really taking on, and those scuffs that were in there only 5 minutes ago have gone already. Just a beautiful, beautiful thing, very relaxing, sometimes of a Sunday afternoon. Football might be on, might have a glass of something, just to make the afternoon perfect indeed, adding a little bit of a shine to a beautiful pair of shoes or boots. One final little tip: if you wanted a quick go-to each and every time once you've done this, you just need to give them a quick rub. Yes, you can do that with that in the morning and off you go, as you can see, or you can get yourself a trusted chamois leather, something that you might do the car windows with or your own windows in the house. Yes, it's got lots and lots of qualities in there which you can take a look up, but yeah, just simple. Just give that a rub across the top when you're done, or each time that you want to use the shoes. Really simple. Once again, the heat's going in there with your hand and with the friction that you're applying. It's all a very light touch. I'm hopeful that you'll be able to see that that is a marked difference to what it was just a few minutes ago. The key thing to all of this is little is more. Just tiny, tiny little steps, build up the process, finish it off in the right way, and your beautiful pair of shoes will look exactly as they should. Absolutely outstanding. I hope that's useful. I hope to speak to you soon.